What up guys, Coach Nate here. We're going into our rope climb. So there's only two techniques for rope climb. It's the J hook and the S hook. And I'd recommend actually having gloves for your rope climb. When you get to this later on the course, it's likely gonna be caked in mud. It's likely gonna be slippery. So technique is really an important part of this one. I'd recommend the rope gloves just because it really helps if you're in a position where you're losing your grip and you can avoid some of that rope burn on your fingertips and your palms, okay? What I'd recommend is just throwing them in a bag and then bringing them out when you get to the actual course, because if you run the entire course with gloves, they're gonna be caked in mud and then they become basically useless at that point. Okay. All right, so your first technique that you see a lot of the pro racers do is your J hook. It's called a J hook because you're essentially forming a J with the rope. You're kicking under the rope and then you're stomping on top of it. Okay? What that looks like is pulling up here. One is kicking underneath and the other one's pulling as you're here. Okay? So what that does is you have to lengthen out and then you pull forward that way. Okay? So you're stomping down onto the ground and then coming back down that way. Okay? See, again, if you don't have the ropes, you have rope burn. But the key with that one is that you're stomping onto it and you're locking out. Now you can see it's a little bit less stable as you get to the top. You know, if you miss some of those stomps, it can be a little bit treacherous when you get to the top. So one that I would recommend is your S hook, where you're actually coming around the entire rope with the leg and then stomping down on it. So you have that extra wrap around the leg so that you have a little bit more support, okay? So then with the other leg, you're kicking up and then stomping down on this leg. So it's pull, then stomp, and you can see how I have way more support and I can hang out here for a little bit longer, okay? So if you're reaching and your grip's falling apart, then you can still get that position down. Okay, so that is your rope climb, J hook, S hook. Definitely practice the techniques on the ground on a lower positioning and just try to pull up and get your J hook down and then find that grip at the top and just hang there until you feel comfortable enough to climb when you're out there practicing. Again, that J hook and your S hook here is going to be a little bit more complicated, right? So you're gonna pull and then stomp here so that you're stuck with the rope, okay? So those are your two techniques.